Sort of related to this, one of the discussions that's quite interesting in your book is about luck, and what's the role of luck in all of this? There's sort of a school of thought. The mathematician Emile Borel has this thought experiment. If you have enough people sort of flipping coins, there's going to be somebody who's going to flip heads over and over and over, and we can sort of talk to them and say, well, what was your strategy? Why did you win? What are your thoughts on luck versus what is your thoughts on that sort of argument about success?
Well, it is probably the most important philosophical question in business in a way is how much one should attribute to luck or to skill. I think if we're honest about it, it's a very hard question to answer because again, you don't get to actually do this experiment multiple times. It's not like we don't get to run the history of 2004 1,000 times and see if Facebook would have succeeded every time or just this one time. And so it's actually we can't even run the coin tossing experiment. Now, what I always like to differentiate are these sort of two different ways that I think luck gets used. One is sort of as this deep metaphysical statement about reality, where it's just in the nature of reality that luck or chance are the ultimate forces in our universe. And sorry, the soundbite version of it is that luck is just an atheistic word for God. And it's sort of this metaphysical statement about reality. And then the other way to describe luck is that we use the word luck when we're just lazy and we don't want to think about things. And so that the assertion of luck is not a statement about the nature of reality, but about our personal laziness, where we don't really want to think things through. And for that reason, I always have a preference to push back on making luck too all-powerful. And I found that as a venture capitalist, one of the temptations you always have is to treat every investment as a lottery ticket, which I don't think is a great way to treat people. It's not a particularly good way to invest. If you set up a table here at Oxford and said, I have no idea what's going to work. I'm just going to start writing checks to everybody who comes along. It might work, it might not work. I'll just write a small check to everybody. Once you think of it as a lottery ticket, you've already, I think, psyched yourself into losing money. When you think that you're multiplying a very small probability by a big payoff, the answer is normally just zero. And so my preference is always to try to skew more in the direction of higher conviction, more concentration, and against the sort of conventional bias that it's all luck.
Right. There is this sort of interesting self-fulfilling almost prophecy in this. Like if you think it's luck, you're not going to take action, versus if you don't think it's luck, you're gonna do something. And so there's almost this self-fulfilling where the beliefs themselves sort of get reinforced in your actions and so forth. Yeah, is that a good language for it, or?
Yeah, there probably are all these ways the beliefs and the actions feed on one another. I would say certainly one bias that happens if you think luck is very big is to treat everything as a portfolio. So there's sort of this financialization bias people have, where you end up having a portfolio of lots of different lottery tickets. If you think that's less the case, you would end up doing less of that. When we've looked at our venture investing over the last 10, 12 years, it's generally been our higher conviction investments have done better, and a lot of the smaller investments have done worse. And when I look back on the thinking, it was often we didn't have that high conviction, and instead of really working and figuring things out, we sort of compromised by saying, well, can't really figure it out, let's just write a smaller check. And I think often there was a sort of laziness that crept in that one should always resist.
Yeah.